episode 42 of the Within Range podcast with your boys Dom Wall and Jared Suter, and the Eargawd is definitely with us today. Boys, another first for the pod tonight. Our first artist that is technically from Arizona, but we learned about him when he started working and collaborating with the Eargawd, who's in Chicago. So interesting segue there. Obviously, we are more of an Arizona-based podcast, so to interview technically an Arizona/Chicago artist, I think is a cool
Hitting
thing
both our
for us.
bases, man.
Yeah.
Both the home bases.
It's awesome, man. So singer, songwriter, guitarist, visual artist, vocalist. He's got some big projects coming up. Drew, I know you can give us some insight on that. Maybe we'll see how far we go, depending on how deep we get. But definitely excited to have Apache Grosse in the studio with us today, boys.
Very, very happy to be here. Thank you all for taking this time, pouring some drink, and I'm ready to talk about some music.
It's an honor, man. Thank you for coming.
Cheers.
Drew, go ahead, man. I know you want to say something.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of weird because I've been working with them for a few years now, and it's not very often where you guys actually get to meet somebody in person. It's always cool when it's through social media or on the phone, FaceTime, and things like that. But to him, so happened to be living in Phoenix. His family's from Phoenix, and with him traveling, so the fact that it all lined up the way that it was supposed to, it's God's plan.
Beautiful.
Meant to be. Meant to be.
Yeah.
All right.
So-
Well, let's get into it, boys. So Apache, we like to kind of start with the background first, then we'll lead into the music.
All right.
But first question, I think is just undeniably, without saying, we have to ask your name.
Yeah. So my full name is Cody Apache Grosse. So Apache's my middle name. Grosse is my last name. So Apache Grosse, my artist name.
Like it.
My mom, this is funny. My mom had a dog that she absolutely loved, her best friend. And his name was Apache. It was a Doberman, and it died. And then I was born, so she passed on the name. So
Your birth.
wow.
Believe in reincarnation. There it is,
there we
man.
go. Pass down some good energy. I'm wearing that shirt. I got that
Got
dog.
that
I got
dog
that
in
dog
you.
in me,
That's
so I
amazing.
guess that's appropriate.
That's amazing. Got that
Yeah.
Doberman in me.
Yeah. And then it was just like choosing that name was like, I remember when I was starting my artist career, and I was just like, what am I gonna be? I'm gonna be Iglomatic, this, that, trying to come up with names, and I was like, man, this is not working. And then I just decided like to use my middle name because it's still me, but it's just a side that people didn't know. And
Strong name too.
It is. It's a good middle name.
Apache, like
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's funny too, because if you would have seen me before I started my music, I had all this crazy hair. I came back from overseas and I shaved it all and started my career. So I had a new name, new look,
wow.
no hair.
Had to be a little cooler for the Barcelona girls.
Hey,
Yeah, that's what it
Barcelona.
was. I get it, man. It happens. You come over. We've seen your Blazer game. We can get into that later, but that clearly has some European influence in it.
Oh, we got.
They
some
didn't know
work-
middle of the
you-
mall, as Riff Raff would say.
Is this the FBI? They got the background info. Oh
I
man.
can only imagine, just from what I've seen in the videos, I can already imagine there's like one of those rotate, like a tie rack thing when those
Yeah.
ties come around, just Blazers just flying, dude, every color.
We definitely can take some time there eventually. When it comes to fashion, man, I have some people who set me right. I remember when I was young, man, I'd be trying to spit game at girls, and my mom sent me to school with like boats on my shirt and those short shorts before short shorts were cool.
Mhm.
So
Nice. Do you have
I
some Sperry's on too? Or
I had a whole thing, but I had some help along the way to help me get to a respectable
Nice.
respectable status. So
graduated from the let's see, what was it? Would it be Hollister, American Eagle, or am I too old for that? Or is that my
Hollister was
We all went through
my
that era.
second job.
your second job?
Oh,
I
wow.
was,
Pizza Hut was the first, and
No
then
way.
Hollister was the second.
Nice.
dude,
Yeah.
that's so funny. Okay,
Nice.
so my first job was Tilly's.
Oh, there you go.
That's
There you
perfect,
go.
dude. Yeah.
That's still
Oh, that's
sick.
so funny. God. And I was so gassed. I blew every dollar of those paychecks on the thinking 20% was some fire discount. Like what was
That's the perfect corporate loop right there. They're like, get them, pay them, take that money
and then
right
I
back.
spend it right there. Yeah. And I was buying already overpriced clothing at 20% off, thinking I was the man. How we learn.
Man. All right, so you were originally born in Vallejo.
Mhm.
When did you come over to Phoenix?
Oh, young. I have like the worst memory, and I don't think I was even forming memories at that time, but I think it was probably like between 3 and 5.
Okay, so super young.
Yeah.
And then you end up going, I think you said earlier, Apollo High School in Glendale?
Yeah. So I went to like middle school at like Choya, and so I was more like I think 27th Avenue and like Thunderbird.
Okay.
And
okay.
my mom taught at Apollo High School. and she made the decision to have me transferred there, which was probably like the best thing. Because wait, can we cuss on here?
Oh, yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
Okay,
Of course.
Yeah.
I was getting in fucking trouble all the time. My mom has these funny stories where she would just tell me, she's like, and I knew as soon as I saw the teacher walking straight up to me, what did he do now? Her favorite story to tell is my math teacher, who I had a crush on. She was banging. She goes, so his phone went off in class, and I took away his phone. It wasn't his phone went off; it was his ringtone.
Oh, no.
I'm in love with a stripper.
Oh, that's
So,
amazing. That's
so yeah,
amazing.
mom got me out of trouble a lot. So
Hey, what a ringtone to have too. T-Pain.
That was in
time.
there.
oh, that was a rise too. That was like the time too. Like
Yeah.
he was just on top.
That was amazing. Yeah, I my worst ringtone story. I was sitting in a calculus 3 class, and some guy. This is when I think it was No Ceilings 3 or something like that. But Lil Wayne had a freestyle, and this guy had a particular part of Lil Wayne's verse on his thing. We're in the middle of a quiet Calc 3 class. On Ming Zhu was the professor, and all of a sudden, blunt dipped in syrup, truck fit t-shirt, pass that weed around like some fucking hors d'oeuvres. And dude, this guy was absolutely furious, man. Those ringtones were a problem. I used to get in trouble with those.
That's lovely though. That's just expression, right? Those
It's
are
beautiful, right?
that's when you look at someone like that, you're like, he's gonna make it.
Well, you used to have to like download an app. I get there was like a special process to get those.
You had to pay
ringtones,
for
too.
it
Yeah,
too.
you had
You
to,
know,
like, yeah, you either had
99
to pay,
cents. You know,
or
like
there was ways to like save them as a file type and like cut part. It was a whole thing, man.
The
You're
DAP50.
invested, yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
invested in it if you did that. Love it.
All right. So I heard that you got your kind of music start in like 3rd grade when you started doing choir, I think it was.
man, he knows everything.
But you just said a little bit ago that the music didn't really start kicking until you went to Chicago.
yeah. So the person who got me into music was Michael Jackson.
Oh,
No, but wait, my choir teacher is named Michael
Oh.
Jackson.
Oh.
he went by Gary.
Dom was putting his white
Yeah.
glove on already.
I was
bro.
like,
He's
yeah.
like, he's like, we're talking about the man in the mirror. Let's go.
I mean, MJ too, right? But for me, I just never had like an identity when I was younger. Like I was growing up and I was mixed, and that was very confusing. And like I just like I didn't have like a cool thing, you know. I like was a humor. That was like my way to get by. But I remember I'll never forget like how awesome this guy was, because you had to take electives, PE, this and that. And so I didn't know any different, and was in choir. And he gave me a solo. He's like, why don't you try this out?
Wow.
It was like the first time in my life where I was like, man, I feel special. Like I feel like this belongs to me. Like this is what I'm supposed to do. So I spent most of my youth like in choir, in musicals, like going to regional, state. I was getting in trouble constantly with my choir teacher because I'd always be trying to like do R&B riffs and everything. I was like, damn, why did I not go to black church choir? I would be sick with
Need to
those
get
runs right now.
Say Siri, where's the closest Pentecostal church? Yeah.
No, I'm like, why didn't
Baptist.
I mean, I would have been even smoother. But yeah, so I just spent most of my life thinking that I wanted to do this and knowing, but like waiting. You know, it's like I was writing songs, but I didn't have anyone to record them. I kind of knew a little guitar. My choir teacher gave me the piano, like the old piano that they had. I
Oh,
got
wow.
it tuned up and everything, so I started playing keys, but I didn't know. And it wasn't until I came back from Europe where like on that journey, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And then I started producing my own music, and I started within the first 6 months, put my first project out. And so that's just why like after I had moved, I had learned how to start the journey. I was always passionate about music, but I just, was waiting for it to happen.
Needed the spark.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What was it about the trip that did that? Was it just taking the leap and doing something? Hey, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. Was it just the fact that you took a leap, went somewhere unfamiliar, it went well, and you came back and you were like, maybe I could apply that to other things? Or was it a creativity thing out there? Or just in the air?
Yeah, man, it's
question.
like all this stuff is linked. I have like this story that comes before this story that links in, but I think the biggest part, and we can double down if we need, is like when I went on that journey, I was in such a spot. I was working this job because I always felt I still had like some identity issues, and I was always trying to be valuable, and I thought that like if I had money, that would be it. And so I worked this job. I was in sales, and I worked and I worked and I worked.
Yeah.
And I moved to Chicago for that job. And I was working to get this position that was like that fuck you money, like, oh, I've made it now. This is undeniable. And I remember the day I got that promotion, I walked out of the office, and it took me probably like 2 minutes. I walked right in and I said, actually, I quit. Sold my
The
house.
day you got it?
Yeah, sold my house, sold all of my stuff, packed a backpack, just had 2 shirts. a pair of pants, an iPad, a camera, a guitar, and $1,000 suit just because I want to ball out like when I hit a spot. But
It's like John Wick's getaway bag. That was
Yeah, it's-
basically John Wick's getaway bag.
pretty much. It was a blue suit though. It wasn't black.
Not bulletproof.
Not bulletproof. Not
Okay, all
bulletproof.
right.
But when I was on that journey, I didn't know what I was going to do. So I bought that one-way ticket to London. I started in London, went to Spain, went to Italy, went to Japan, went to France, Switzerland. Like I was just on the go and I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I wanted to document it. So I would document it, and I'd play guitar. It's a cool little traveler guitar. And for me, Spain, the reason I'm moving there is like that's where for me my heart knew, because I was in this alleyway. If you know, like Madrid, all the streets are pretty close to each other.
Picture cobblestoney. Yep.
I'm in
yep,
this
yep.
alleyway. I'm doing John Mayer. I don't trust myself.
Nice. Okay.
And I'm singing. I'm doing some takes, recording, and then I get done singing. All I hear is this big round of applause. I look up, and there's just balconies of people just
Dude.
cheering. And then I got a residency at this hostel in Spain,
No
in
way.
Barcelona. And then so Spain was where I knew in my heart I wanted to. Japan was where I wrote the business plan. Came back, shaved the head, changed the name, and then just pounded it out. So
Wow.
my stories may be long. I get this from Drew.
No, that's awesome.
I tell Drew every time he
Tell
tells
long
a story.
stories.
I'm like, man, we got to work on doing these in like
Oh yeah,
chapters.
Drew. Yeah.
No, hey,
Drew
you
can
gave
go-
you gave the Cliff Notes the first version. I asked to go deeper, so I appreciate it. That's cool, man. So you came up with the business plan in Japan. I love that. I feel like that's probably the right place to come up with the business plan. I haven't been there. My dad was fortunate enough. He spent some time in school out there. He's always loved it. So it's always been a thing he revered and stuff. But they just run a country very well out there.
Oh,
You'd be like, okay, I could function in a business out here.
Oh, Japan just
Not the Wild West.
itself is like I love it.
Yeah.
I'm going back again, but I remember I almost didn't make it because I remember this guy came in and we became friends. We didn't speak very good language, and I was like, "You want to get some weed?" He's like, "Yeah, let's get some weed."
Ooh,
And he
in Japan?
goes, yeah, and he goes, and I'm following this guy who I barely can speak to, and he walks up to these guys in these nice suits and everything. And I'm like, oh, that's a real cool plug. And later did I know that Japan has a extremely strict, if you get caught with weed, you're like
It's bad.
super fucked.
Oh wow.
And I didn't
Between that and,
understand.
like Dubai, where you don't want to get
Oh,
caught
yeah,
with weed.
definitely
Yeah.
not.
And the extra layer was the reason these guys' suits were so nice because they were the Yakuza.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
I
were
was
they
gonna
missing
say.
a knuckle or two? or
Yeah,
missing
so
a
I was like,
finger?
there's just
Yeah.
layers to this meat, like naively writing my business plan, being like, it'd be nice to smoke right now.
The closer, yeah, exactly. The
Getting into
closer
the
you
dungeon.
get, the louder Teriyaki Boys Tokyo Drill starts playing.
Yeah, I did. I was
What is
coming
going
around.
on
I was
here?
walking around corners with that angle.
And all of a sudden, I wonder if you.
Yeah, I love that song. Love that scene.
That's amazing. Yeah, you see the nice suits. That's their dead giveaway for sure. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
I think one of the cool things about Apache that I learned from him is in the moment where he feels complacent, he picks up and moves. And I think he has this spark of creativity when he goes somewhere new, something that he's not familiar with. He figures it out. He meets tons of people in a very short amount of time. And I think that energy and seeds that you plant kind of help you strive to grow roots in that place. Because I remember when you went to Chicago, you stayed there for a bit, but then when you decided to move back, it's like you already planted the seeds. Now you just needed that room to grow.
Yeah, this man right here is one of those seeds, man. This guy helped me change my career. He helped me really elevate my game. And you know what it took? Some Harold's chicken and some Tecate. I invited him over. I'm like, let's talk some business. And that's what
Sometimes
sealed
that's
the
all you
deal.
need.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Drew
that was it.
levels our game up all the time too.
Sure.
I love it too. So it got the international vibe. The music kind of like what would it be like The Weeknd and Anthony Bourdain mixed almost a little
Hey,
bit. You know
that's-
what I'm
that's
saying?
hot
That's kind of
right
the
there.
vibe I'm getting.
I'm gonna put those in the tags in the
Yeah.
YouTube description. I've never heard that combination.
No
Yeah.
reservations coming soon. No.
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear that sound of that cork every time. I'm
Oh, I
always-
thought it was like
It's
Drew.
fine.
I was like, Drew, did you put a duck sound effect in here? What are we doing?
yeah, I'll leave that on. Oh yeah, because you got those effects. We're gonna be
Yes.
like,
Yep.
we're gonna
all
be in
Drew.
it.
Drew leveling us up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the thing too with Drew that I always enjoyed was every time we'd be in the studio, we'd be doing this and that. He'd always have like a new app, like a new photo editing app.
Oh yeah.
He'd be like, boom, boom,
Drew's
shooting
always
stuff.
on point with the tech, man.
Oh yeah, he's
Always.
catching us eating birthday cake and it looks fire. I'm like, why were you not shooting all my videos? I don't understand.
What was the one that really got me, Drew? Was when we wrapped up season 1 and you were like, "Hey guys, I worked on I signed all the guests on the back of that Jack bottle," and you
That
were
was
like,
sick.
Dude, you were like zooming in on that thing coming up. I was
Yeah.
like, Drew, flexing, dude.
That's
The
all about the
eye god.
angles.
Sometimes he's the eye god too. It's just, you can't limit it to just the auditory system. You know, he's the sense god.
The level of shit talking at the Leal household that I got after making that video was ridiculous. My girlfriend's just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm making a video. And she goes, of course you're making a video. She sees it on Instagram like 10 minutes later. She goes, really? That's what you were doing? I said, yep, gotta work.
It's like that page,
Gotta punch that
influencers
clock
in the
in.
wild. Yeah, the one's always catching all the girls taking their beach bikini pics, looking ridiculous. Yeah, that's awesome.
I was in Mexico just like, I don't know, like a couple weeks ago. And my memory's so bad. I'm like, and
I blame it on old age, but
no, it wasn't Mexico, it was Spain. Sorry.
Okay.
This
Same
lady
language.
was just like, she was doing the most. She was in the water all the way. Like her phone must have been waterproof. She was ready for a wave to just take it away. She was risking it all. But she was getting the angles though. I was like, yo, what's your handle? I just want to see the before and after. You know?
They say the devil works hard, but I'll tell you what, Instagram thoughts work harder.
There you
They
go.
just do, dude. They
There you
just
go.
do. No disrespect to her, but she was
That's
waist
right.
deep taking bikini pictures in
was-
Spain. I'm gonna guess there's a certain level.
That water was cold too, though. Like
Yeah,
this,
okay,
this,
so
this
she was
specific
braving it.
corner, like it was getting later. You know, she's getting the golden sunlight. You know, so everything's cooling off. I was just trying to get in the water.
Yeah, you were just like, I'm literally just trying to get in the water, man. Come
Yeah.
on. Oh, that's
That's
funny.
it.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do.
I'm not trying to be in a film.
You guys almost ready to hit the music?
Man, I think so.
Drew, you wanna go into
Yeah,
the
let's
music?
get into
Yeah,
it.
in theory, too,
Absolutely.
right?
All right,
We're doing it later.
before we do that, another thing that I learned
Yeah.
upon doing my homework is that your favorite artist is Miguel.
One of them for sure,
Yeah.
100%. I
Who,
mean,
who else is on that list?
like Weekend.
Okay.
I'd say most impactful. Like 2012, you know, House of Balloons came out, and I was like,
Oh, House of Balloons is man.
Mhm.
I was
what a
so
classic.
I was so soft. That album came out. I was like, I want to do bad things. Um, I really, really enjoyed Joji, who's this Australian Japanese artist who based out of LA. Started off like,
Australian Japanese.
yeah, this is a weird fact. You guys remember the Harlem Shake?
Of
Yeah.
course.
So
yeah.
he was the guy who started that whole wave.
Oh,
He was
like
this,
the videos.
yeah, this character, pink guy in Furious Frank, this YouTube guy who's just super silly. Then he starts dropping music, and it's the most beautiful thing.
Wow.
Insane, really talented, but really unique his own person. Really love Pierre Leponte, who's this like French pianist.
Wow. Okay.
You know, and then you have the hip hop, tons of Eminem, you have the rock, you know,
Eminem
My Chemical
comes up
Romance.
often when people talk about early influences on this
Yeah.
podcast. Eminem has been
That
very
was-
consistent.
That was the first that and R. Kelly
Oh, let's go.
was the first
listen.
was the first was
Listen,
the
we'll
first
be forgiven
In nomine
later,
Patri
okay?
Filii
Like-
Spiritus
yeah,
Sancti,
yeah.
man.
So
Just
it's
Listen,
not
hey, real artists know that R. Kelly was hella impactful and one of the greatest artists I think of all time.
I've gone on the show and said I personally on camera I've forfeited the entire R. Kelly catalog. I don't listen to anything as long as I can keep my remix to Ignition, and I get that it was between that and I Believe I Can Fly, and
Yeah.
I went with that. But you're not separate the man from the music, okay? I'm
Correct.
just
Yeah, yeah,
saying,
correct.
you got to do it. You got to do it.
My memory too, not conveniently, it was mistaken. It was Ja Rule, but it had that R. Kelly
Oh,
song on
okay.
it. So it was
Drew got me into Ja Rule. I remember
yeah,
that.
it was that one we had the New York on it. Like,
New
but
York.
these were my first it wasn't my first CDs, but it was my first uncensored CDs. I was in
Nice.
Flagstaff, Arizona.
No way.
My
No
mom's
way.
like, go
Flag.
for it. I got those two. I put it in the car. She's like, what are you listening to? Like, mom, and everything's on there, and it's like, pussy, vagina, your
Yeah,
monologue's
yeah.
getting tired. No, it's time to ride. And it was like, that combo of words
dude.
played in my mother's eyes. She turned around and she just looked at me, but she couldn't take it back.
Yeah.
She had given
No,
that
shit,
to me.
shit,
And so
no.
she was just like, man, we need to talk about your choices.
Yes, closing the barn door after the cows are out. It don't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, Ja Rule. I got 100 guns, 100 clips.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Dude, my
That's
parents
right.
bought me an airsoft gun and a New York cap. I was
Get
in my
out,
backyard. Like, I thought I was so
You were in the
hard.
terror squad. You were part of the terror
I
squad.
came
yeah.
Momo. I had it all, man. I was
Murder
in the
Inc.,
back
dude.
knocking cans out. Like, I got 100 guns, 100 clips.
yeah. I would
I'm
honestly, I would
familiar.
actually, for me, even to this day, I would put that beat at least in the top 20 all time for me. I
Really?
love the New York beat. I just
Wow.
love
It
the
just-
sound of it. I thought it was ahead of its time even then.
That
It's
was a
really
combo
good,
too.
dude.
Jadakiss, Fat Joe, and
Yes.
Ja Rule. They brought it. I mean,
Yeah.
like 50 kind of bodied J. Rule a bunch, but
50
got
50
Miniman.
definitely did. He won that
Yeah,
battle.
dude.
He won that
Yeah.
battle.
But he had his time. He had
Oh,
his
he had his
time.
time.
And we're just
Yeah.
celebrating times, right?
Exactly.
Before we knew about all the crazy shit.
Exactly,
and all that,
man. Living it up, too. Ja Rule had his day.
Ja
man.
Rule was that dude for a minute.
Shout out to Firefest.
Yeah. I just gotta throw this theory out there. Anytime I bring up Prince, when
Miguel.
I bring up Miguel is, if they ever do a biopic on Prince, Miguel needs to play the lead role.
Yeah, I could feel that, man. Miguel just has that energy. Like he has that sexuality, but that respectful. It just feels natural. Like
Yeah.
I follow him on Instagram, and I just watching his story. It sucks that him and his wife got divorced because
Yes.
she had a doctorate. She was like a doctor. She was gorgeous, and like just their chemistry. So it was like that was a great influence because I feel like I love sexuality, especially in music, But it's like sometimes you have that stuff and you listen to it, and it's just nasty, it's raunchy, but you're like, oh, I'm in it and this and that. But then there's some stuff like just Miguel, he could say the nastiest things, but it felt consensual and it
Yes.
felt just like
Classy.
anyone who was hearing it was like, say more.
It's like there's a bit of class to it.
It was just
Correct,
just natural too. It felt like everyone was just there for the party. And
Yeah. He's someone I can only imagine what it's like in person. Dom's told me and showed me some videos, people talking about it with The Weeknd, where he's got an aura. But for me, the one thing I like about Miguel, he's got an aura through just watching a YouTube video. Like you just watch his music video and you're like, you get this energy sense from him
Yeah.
for sure. I know what you're talking
Skywalking.
about. Yes.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Great
That
song.
was,
Coffee,
yeah.
shirt thing. Yeah. All
The
the
Valley
banana.
is still like on
banana
a
clip.
secret list that I have, playlist that I have.
Yeah.
Valley comes on, I'm like, we're putting work in.
That's the-
You've got like a special code with your what is it, the Amazon Home thing, whatever. Like
Oh yeah.
3
Yeah.
claps. We know what
3
we're talking
claps.
about. Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
when you hear 20 claps really quick back to back, do me one thing. Do me one favor really quick. If I hit 20 at an audible level, please just switch the gears, put it into overdrive for me. Yeah, put it on. That's amazing.
Like, you know who is like I'd say like a newer artist who has a lot of his energy is like Lucky Day. Have you
I
heard
don't know,
Lucky
no,
Day?
not
Oh
familiar.
man, this song Over is just, once again, it's just a smooth brother who brings in those tones and that energy, and the music is just like, I think the album's called Candy Drip, and it's just like, I'm just saying, you guys
Got me
you
sold
know,
on the
gotta
name.
keep
Got me
it.
sold.
you need,
Candy
if you
Drip.
need if you need the environment to kick into gear, put that album on.
Candy Drip. I like that name. too.
Yeah, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm sold, dude. I love it.
I was gonna say that one of the things I loved about our studio sessions, we would have different songs that we would reference of like something he was feeling, or like, hey, I heard this and I like the way this sounds, and we'll just like for the first hour just put on music, and especially if it was like in the evening, towards the end of the night, we would literally turn all the lights off. You'd see there was windows that you could see like slightly outside, and we would just kind of just sit back, have a few drinks and things like that, and we would just listen to music. And I couldn't tell you how many new songs or how many new artists he put me on. Joji was definitely one of them. Of like that, yeah, he would just have reference and I would just listen. I'd be like, okay, this is like really cool eclectic taste of music, I would say.
There's always that one friend that when they suggest music, you gotta listen.
You gotta listen, yeah.
Man, I try to listen all the time, at least 30 seconds. Like, you get 30. And then if I'm like
pretty
not
generous.
captivated, I'm like, oh man, I don't know about your choices.
Average attention span is about 6 seconds, so you're giving him a pretty generous
there we go,
birthday.
there we
You're
go.
giving him
Yeah.
more than 3 or 5x there. You know what I mean?
And those studio sessions were awesome. We did, it's like always a Sunday, it's like every Sunday we would meet and we would work on this album. And it was just always a relief. But man, Drew has the secrets. The shit that happened in that studio, man, we tried some interesting recording tactics, and he can never speak about. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. It was a good time.
Drew's a wizard. You can see on each of our lines on Pro Tools there's multiple plugins on each, and I cannot tell you how mystified I was. I don't even think he was seeing the screen. He's like describing the graph of sort of like the frequencies.
It's
and
a
he's like-
matrix, man.
He's like, yeah, actually, can you attenuate the like below this hertz? And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I literally have a biomedical engineering degree. I have no fucking clue what you're talking about, dude. Like, I know what hertz are. We're talking frequencies.
It's in the realm.
It's in the realm. But he's just like, yeah, turn the gain up. Okay, now there's yeah, it was hilarious. Shout out Drew, man.
Dear God, baby.
Thank
All
you.
right, boys,
Appreciate it,
music
guys.
time. Let's do it. I think it's only right. One of the first pieces that I came across was Sunday Prayer live.
Love it.
Last views I counted was 35K on the YouTube. Pretty dope performance. I definitely got Weekend vibes off that one. And it was cool. You did the piano thing, but then when you whipped out the guitar, I feel like it went up a
That was a
notch.
moment for you.
Yeah,
I love it.
just enjoy. I mean, I felt like that was probably the general reaction, man. But tell me about that performance and what that was like.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was one of my favorite songs because I think that for me was one of my first songs where I like. I mean, I'd been stepping into the producer chair. My favorite part is like at that point I wasn't extremely proficient in a lot of instruments. So my process would always be is I would demo, I'd create demos, and then I'd find artists that I was around that I really loved and respected, like great guitarists, this and that. And then I'd be like, all right, can you blah blah blah, and we would work together, and it would always be evolving those sounds. And I think that was one of the first ones where I had my friend here, Ryan Hall, just give me some live drum samples, right? My boy Gara over in Nuremberg, Germany, Chan Fuse in Chicago. And like I just got all these things and then I just got to craft this
Wow.
this thing and like really carve out like how is this fill gonna hit and this and that. And then it came time to play it and I wanted it to be really worthy. So I like created this whole video that just had all these splashes of colors and I kind of timed it out. And the cool thing about Ableton is you can like drop videos in and I'd use my push so I could just trigger the samples. So start off with little keys. I went to my boys Pogi Studios. I was like, hey, can I just borrow your camera? I just need it on a tripod. So they got all the nice gear. I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah.
sure. They're having a meeting in the background and I'm literally just here, like lights are flickering and just triggering and just I think that was one of my first like digital performances that I really loved that I felt like, I feel one with like these instruments.
Yeah.
I'm doing more than just singing and I'm crafting a soundscape.
That's really cool. It came through in the video too, and you already kind of answered one of my questions because I was going to ask. It seemed like the background was timed up to the music, so it was in fact timed up. Wasn't
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
coincidental.
I had it all in there. So as soon as I hit this button, that would start and I knew how long the track would play out. So the
That's
drops,
awesome.
all of that were timed and cued.
Wow.
It's I might mess the guy's name up. The song's called Tadao, but
Oh
his
yeah,
name's
Masago.
Masago.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Have you seen the video of him doing that live? I think it's in like the Red Bull Studios, and
Is he with FKJ?
Yes,
Dude,
yes.
yeah,
That
love
video,
it.
dude. That's what that gave me vibes of. What you were doing.
That's where
It
I
was
found
very
him
similar. Yeah,
from that. Was
from that, it had colors, Tiny
Yeah.
Desk vibes to it.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, it was
Appreciate the comparison.
no, I know,
Yeah.
and that's what I was gonna say. I mean, your other videos we got on there too, like chains and stuff. Like, dude, your cinematography, whatever team, if it's just one person, if
Pogi
it's
Studios.
dude, it is top notch. It's pretty unbelievable. Before we leave Sunday Prayer, though, I got to talk about my moment in that song, and that's I'm gonna bend that back on Monday because I was not expecting that. I'm like, okay, he's nice with it. This is some good stuff. I put on, I might put this on with my lady, and I was like, oh, I'm definitely put that.
There we
on
go.
my
Hey,
lady.
yeah,
You went toxic on him real quick. I loved it.
Anytime someone says a statement like that, I'm like doing the Lord's work.
I was just sitting there. I was like, I was vibing. Masago ain't definitely doing that in Tada. Okay, he ain't bending no backs on Monday in that one.
Right,
So you
right.
definitely had a little edge to it there, which was cool, man. But the visual for it, crazy talented. Obviously, you can see
Yeah.
you're playing the music. That's not easy to do. So
No.
my hat goes off, man. That was really
Appreciate
cool.
it. Well, I mean, the good thing is when you're recording it, I think I did like 10 takes. So it's different than when you're live and you're in it. When I'm live and I'm in it, I always have people with me playing. So that way they can focus on that and I can
nice.
focus on the other elements.
Nah, that's cool. That makes sense though.
Yeah.
And it's cool the way you kind of said it all sounded like you were basically sending out reference tracks almost at first. Like, hey, like you said you would play something if you said you weren't as proficient, you would send people out and hey, here's kind of the idea. And then
I'd always, because that's how like I'd just be in my home studio. Like I actually this really great setup in Chicago. Like I had this like 700 square foot spot, just had perfect vibe, and I would just be down there all the time. Especially the pandemic happened, and like I was just in that studio every day, and I would just make so many different tunes. I have like 200 songs on like my SoundCloud that are like unreleased that are
Wow.
just like,
Wow.
but then you hit that one, you're like, I love that. And then I would just think in my head, who's a great bass player?
Yeah.
My boy Boyan would come and slay on some. Who's a great guitarist? My boy John Marino, who started the whole career with me. I would hit people up and I would show them this is what I've got. And then they would always bring their element to it. And they would add those extra licks that I couldn't play and take it in directions that at the time my mind couldn't comprehend. And that was my favorite part. I always realized I was so focused on making it when I was younger.
Mhm.
And I realized like when I made music was when I was the happiest. And as soon as I put it out was like when I was the saddest. And it wasn't until I got older and I had the ability to realize I had already made it. every day you get to make it, you made it, right? You're living the
Yeah.
dream, right? Like you can have someone say, "Hey, you're critically acclaimed, you've got a bankroll, this and that," but like if you're a musician and you're an artist, that's not why you do it.
Mhm.
Yep.
You do it because you have to, or else like you'll explode. Because like I don't, if I didn't have music, I don't know what I would do. I work all the time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was like, when everything took a minute to start, I was like, this is like the first 10 minutes of the day since 7 a.m. that I haven't like been doing something. So I wouldn't know
Yeah.
what I would do if I couldn't do this.
It's awesome. Comes through in the music, I think.
Appreciate it, man.
Definitely. Drew, you got anything?
Yeah, I think that was a song that I was really excited to work on because, the cool thing is we'll have weekly conversations and, like you said, we would meet up every Sunday for like, I would say over 2 years. And so going into that song, he was like, "Hey, I got this really cool song. I got a bunch of different people to play on it. It's going to be completely different than what we've done thus far." And I was like, okay. So when I come in, typically I will get the reference track of what he was talking about, the demo that he sends out to other people, and then all of a sudden I'll just get riddled with these files, and we'll start to go through them. We'll start to hear everything individually, and then he's like, sometimes he'll record his performance, or sometimes he'll be comfortable enough to record it with me. So there'll be those moments where we'll go through different vocal takes, and then we'll figure out what to replace or what to overdub, and then it'll get to a point when we start mixing, which is taking all the elements and essentially giving you the experience of what you typically hear on the final product. He is very crafty at like really understanding giving you that picture. So for me, it's like I'm just the person with the paintbrushes. He's giving me the direction, but I'm literally the one doing all the movements, knowing where to put things and how to put the right color and texture things together. And then we listen to it a bunch of times in the studio and our headphones and things like that, and we'll pick it apart 50 times and
He says a
remix
bunch of
it
times. It's more
30
like
times.
1,000 times. This man's patient. This is the
I'm
most
being
patient human
lenient.
I've
I'm
ever
being
met.
lenient.
You've been kind.
That's pretty cool. It's kind of like, I guess the parallel I might draw for people is like if you go to a contractor and you're like, I want my house to be boho chic or something. I want some sort of, modern farmhouse. And they're like, yeah, I roughly know what you mean there. And they could give you something close. Maybe it's what you want. Maybe it's a little off. You're able to be like, here's a picture of something I absolutely love. Can you give me something basically just like this? And it's like you're able to paint a much clearer picture. And it's like you carry that ball a lot further down the line so that people can really build off of that. And it's almost like you get to a higher place with it almost because you've taken it further yourself before they get in.
I've learned a lot of empathy now being a producer for other artists. Is like, I was insane, dude. I was like, he was like, yeah, this is exactly what I want, blah, blah. They'd give it. And I'm like, oh, that color's kind of wrong. Oh, that, blah, blah. Like, we would go over and do something over and over and over again and over and over and over again because I just saw it so specifically.
Mhm.
Now I'm a lot better at articulating that, but this man had to be a mind reader. He was just pretty much going through minefields trying to make sure that he got it to like a spot that I was like all right with. So once again, I'll give you
Shout
another
out
saying.
Eargawd.
Shout out Eargawd.
Blessing to know what you want though. Not everyone does.
I was gonna say he had me on a food budget, so like we would always get different foods, and like obviously he already kind of proved the point. You don't really need to sell me much, just some food and beer, and I'm okay.
Shawarma garden.
Yeah, shawarma garden. Yeah,
Takati and
There's a-
shawarma. Sign me up.
It was literally
Yeah.
like that was the thing. It was like every Sunday, what do you want to eat? What are you gonna eat? He would show up, he'd be in a bad mood, this and that. What do you want to eat? We'd eat, and we get to it.
Good meal
Oh,
fix
yeah.
anything.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
True
Most
that.
things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think, Jared, you kind of mentioned it. We can talk about chains.
Yeah.
That was kind of the next project I stumbled upon. And for some reason, the first thing that kind of came to me with that one was Robin Thicke vibes.
Hey, I'll take it.
I
I can
maybe
see
because
that
the way
now.
the video was laid out. And
Yeah.
yeah, I was watching. I was like, I feel like this could be like a Robin Thicke.
I need you on my marketing team with all these tags.
Hey,
You know, I'm
listen,
reaching the
dude.
wrong audiences because I don't have
I
this
can do
insight.
it. Talk to me about that project.
There we go. Yeah, man, Chains was was one I really loved. I got to make it with a lot of friends, and I got to learn ballet from my ex at the time, someone who's very special to me.
That's interesting.
Yeah, she was a ballet dancer.
She's the one in the video? Or
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha.
And so trying to figure out, I just wanted the aesthetic of this project, right? To be something that just felt really clean and just different because it was like a blues track. And I think about like what blues is usually like. It's, I'm hurting, I'm in it, I'm in the grind, and like there's pain in that video. But being able to make that track with some really good friends, and then being able to like learn ballet and learn how to like flip a lady
Yeah,
like
you were
this.
moving.
all
it.
that,
You
yeah.
flipped her.
Dude.
You flipped her.
Oh my God. So that was supposed to take like, it was supposed to be like a 6-hour shoot. And we started at like, I don't know, 6. We had to wait for the sun to go down, and it was winter time. And we didn't leave till like 7 a.m. And
Damn.
the mistake, this is like all my videos are like this. But the mistake was we did the hardest thing first, and
Mm.
that was the flip. I had to do that like 15 times.
Wow.
And
just
then we
gasped by the
finally
end.
got it. And it was like, all right, now for the rest of the video.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, it was a great experience, but definitely pushed me towards like really trying to tap into those characters that you're trying to create in film.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that's cool.
I feel like that's something like an actor would go through when they're like maybe trying to find their scene or land their spot, right? Maybe.
I like low key method acted a little bit. I was
Okay.
like, I was at this point of pure exhaustion. Like I couldn't get back into the character, and just seeing where I'm tied up in the chair.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
supposed to be getting
handcuffing.
tortured. Man, I made one of the directors of art. I was like, all right, slap me. I literally have like giving me some good slaps across the face. Like
Damn.
I was trying to get like in the character, and I was just so tired, and it actually worked. It
Like
like
Christian Bale style.
Yeah,
put me
right.
right.
You're
The whole
Christian
start of
Bale,
that
yeah.
video was like right after getting clapped up like on the
That's
face
hilarious.
a couple of times.
I ate one almond a day for 6 months before leading up to
Oh,
the
the
shoot.
Oppenheimer
Yeah,
thing? Yeah,
yeah,
I've
it's the
seen that.
Oppenheimer thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, and again, another high quality video. Just
Yep.
the look on it's like it's just crazy. It looks like you had a full record label studio, giant
Studios.
and yeah, keep
Shout 'em
keep
out.
shouting
Shout
out,
'em
man.
out.
Good, they're doing crazy work. It looks good. It's awesome.
I was gonna say with that particular song, actually, I would say that because that was one of the first handful of songs that we did when we first started
Yeah.
working together. I would say
New
that
genre too.
yeah, it was definitely a new genre even for me to work on as well. I think what that proved to me at that point on, he kind of really lives in the mode of the music and the aesthetic. So for that, I remember he went through like rigorous like food dieting, meal planning, exercising. He's very scheduled, very meticulous. So you should see like the dockets that he'll have of like the treatment for everything. He'll have different emailing lists with each different department, and then like we'll have a conjoining of like all of us are communicating, making sure we get the song done, making sure we get the shoot ready, everybody shows up, we have a call sheet, and then when everything is done, he'll have a team of people that are like putting together the video. And then we actually ended up having it was like a show, like a viewing of the music video party that we did at Pogi Studios. I thought that was a really fun night.
That after party was still one of the coolest, man. Love it.
that was fun.
Sounds like you had to be there. All right, I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on the
that was
wall.
definitely one of those.
I just gotta say, for anyone that's been watching all of our episodes, I love to contrast this video or music video approach with like, let's say like 602 Byron pulling up to a Chevron, dude.
Oh yeah.
28 hours and
Yeah.
6 Jeeps terrorizing
pretty
people
deep,
for 30
dude.
seconds, filming it and running off. A little different take. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got all ends on the spectrum here. That's perfect.
Yeah, I love it.
How about that? You want to go?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
How about that Brooklyn Girl video? Because that was a movie. I felt like in-
Pogi Studios.
Damn. All right, Drew. Every time that he's mentioned Pogi Studios,
we need the
mentioned,
DJ
gotta-
Khaled, another one.
Yeah,
another
yeah,
one.
It's coming up.
Yeah. So like first off, I like Pogi, like one of the founders, Brian, like was one of my best friends. And like so that's the beautiful part is like I would not have any of this if it didn't come from like my friends doing like the ultimate homie hookup. Like it was like
Yeah.
because we would create these visions, and then I would scrape whatever money I could so that way we could actually shoot it. And I remember that was like my first real video. It was like 8 minutes or something, or I don't even remember how long it was.
That's what I'm saying. It was almost a film,
You know,
short
yeah.
film.
I was like,
Crazy.
I want
Went
to,
in.
I want to shoot this film, and like that was when I was kind of more reckless with the money though, because I didn't understand. I thought it would last forever, till I had to start going back at one point in the career, working at restaurants, stealing Domino's napkins for the toilet paper.
Oh
man.
Man, those
Sick.
ride stories, you gotta love them. But yeah, man, that was wild because we did like that whole thing was just crazy. I remember writing out the screenplay for it, and then the girl that I casted, I remember I was at Lollapalooza, and I was walking, and there was this girl who was gorgeous, cool as fuck. And I think I was on shrooms or some shit like that. So I didn't have the capacity or gunter to go talk to her. But I remember seeing her, and then she just walked away. we were going through the casting, and I was looking at agencies, this and that, and I just couldn't find the right person for the role. I hit my boy Brandon Patterson up, and I was like, "Do you have anyone?" And he recommends this person.
Don't tell
It's
me
the
it's her. Don't tell me
same-
it's her.
No.
It's
No
the
way.
same girl, because
Stop.
as soon as I saw her, I was like,
What?
because she was like in my mind, because she just had such a cool look, dude. She was like almost as tall as me, etc. Selena Sophia. And yeah, and then she was interested in the thing, so her agency let her do it at a really discounted rate. But like, one of the funniest things was, we're getting ready to shoot. I have my team driving cross country. My manager at the time is driving me. So we're driving from Chicago to New York, Brooklyn.
Yeah,
bro.
that's not a short drive.
Yeah, we're flying her. And I just remember we're driving, and then it's like, my manager's like, "You want to have some edibles?" I was like, "Oh, I'd love to have some edibles." Eat some edibles. And I'm like, I say this statement, this is what I love. I love getting high, not having to worry about anything, just being on the road. My phone fucking rings. And she's like, "They won't let me on the plane." And I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "My name's not Selena Sophia. That's my Instagram handle."
Oh no.
And her agency had put this and everything. I had booked the ticket under the wrong name.
Oh wow.
It starts thundering. And so now, me being relaxed, I'm at a bus stop
Bad time to be high, kids.
spending way too much money on a flight in an hour or so to try to get her to New York City.
Mm.
And that was the days where we did not have the sheets as well as Drew is talking, but we got there.
That's a
Man.
strong motivator to organize for sure.
It was, I just remember just being like, what? And I just remember we were on this cliff and it was raining, and I was like, we're gonna fall off this cliff. This shoot's not going to happen. And then we made it to Brooklyn, and the shoot happened, and it was a beautiful start of the career.
What was up with the vampire contacts you were rocking in that mug?
Yeah, so it's like the eyes were the symbol of being on the other side. So like, Brooklyn Girl in its essence is about this girl who goes to New York City in pursuit of becoming a model, right? She's from a small town, and she gets there and she's having this amazing time. She's loving it. She's doing all of these things. But then it's kind of like, if you've ever been in New York, that shit kind of grinds you out.
Yeah.
And it's the story about kind of grinding out, and then losing pieces of yourself and filling them with this other side, right? This pursuit, this dream. And it's funny because I actually made this song about my male friend who went to New York and just like was in the grind. And I'm like, why are you living this way, my guy? But he was in it, and he was in that dream. And so like, my character represented that idea. And so you see at the start of the film, she's about to leave, right? Throughout the middle of the film, you see the grate, and then you see it start getting darker, and then the bus pulls away, and she walks over to me, and then in that last scene, when you see it, her eyes are different. It's because she's accepted like that's what she wants to do. So that was supposed to be the symbolism.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that it was the same girl you saw tripping.
That's crazy.
outside
At
of Lolla.
Lollapalooza, that's destiny
crazy.
right
And
there.
that, boys and girls, is called the law of attraction.
There we go. I like that. I was there we go.
That's crazy. Wow.
Awesome. What else? I came across Sure Thing cover.
Yeah, with Miguel. Yeah.
So just speaking of blazers and suits, your
Suit
suit
game.
in that one, I think you were wearing like, I think was the color plum. Am I saying?
I did
that
have
right?
a plum shirt. I
Yeah.
think it was. I bought that at like the guest outlet that you
Okay.
like go to on the way to LA, like that random spot where it's like the only thing to
That's
do on
funny,
the
okay.
drive. Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
like that suit reminded me of like the R&B singers in the 90s, like the Joes and the Avants. Like that was the type of suits they'd be wearing in their videos and shit, man. It was
Yeah.
dope, man. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so like that was like 5 years ago, and it was actually funny. I was shooting all this video content for an Indiegogo because I was raising money because I was about to take on the biggest thing I'd ever done. I wanted to shoot like an actual short film, and I was raising money for this. And so I'd shot a bunch of these videos, and it was going to be part of this campaign, donate, and every week I'm going to drop a new cover, a new video. And I launched the campaign, and that was in March of 2020. And then the pandemic happened.
Couple
Yeah.
things went.
That's
Some
literally
stuff
the
went
start of
down.
COVID.
And then I
Yeah.
kind of abandoned the fundraising part because I was like, man, people out here struggling, but I'll still make the music. So I kind of just continued making that music. So that was one of the covers of that campaign, which raised like, it was like a couple people were like put a couple money in, but it was like a nothing thing. It was like-
You went for it?
You
I
went
was like,
for
all
it.
right, we're
Wow.
tapping into the life savings for this film. Then I guess the crowdfunding was not an option really during the
Oh,
pandemic.
that's funny. Hey, it's the grind though, for sure.
If I was Amazon though, bank account would have been filled because they had money to spend there.
Oh
But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
yeah,
Apache, this was dope, man. We appreciate you
this was
coming on
awesome.
from Chicago, taking off after this, man. We're gonna be keeping up with your career. We appreciate you blessing us, episode 42. Bless us with something to end with, brother.
Yeah, man. I'm a big believer in like creating your own reality, right? So for anyone who's listening here, like I go back to like you made it when you make it, right? It's every day you have the ability to create. Every day you have a choice and an option. Everybody's privilege is different, right? You may not have at that moment network. You may not have, money. You may not have this and that, but like there's some albums that come out that were recorded on people's phones.
Yeah.
And it's like the dopest thing, right? Like you have to really understand like it's not about this fame. It's not just about the big bankrolls. Like if you're an artist, it's about what you create. And the last thing I'll say is like the philosophy I live by is when you're at the end of your life, there's only two things that you're going to think about. How did I spend my time? What did I leave behind?
Mm.
So you walk with that. Make sure you find a lot of love, right? Make sure you spend time with your friends. Tell them that you love them. Have a good time. Party. Get your work done still, so you're progressing. But then, like, what do you leave behind? It's like, do you leave behind a film? Do you leave behind a family? Did you cure cancer? Who knows? But
Yeah,
like, I feel like those are the two things where you're like, what's my legacy? And like, I only had one life. Did I spend it well?
Man, that's cool. Wow, I love that. For me, I feel like you meet yourself. You meet the person the ultimate person you could have been when you die. I feel like, and
Mhm.
how close am I going to measure up to what that? How close out of 100% am I? I love that. It's kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
That's cool.
The goal is like, I can go now. I did it, but
Yeah.
then you get some extra time and find some new stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. Wow, what a note to end on.
Yeah, I love it.
I appreciate you guys for having me out here. Honestly,
Thank you
This
for
is
coming
true-
on, man.
true-
It was an
true
honor. What a
blessing.
combo. Love it.
Glad we're able to make it happen.
Can't wait to see what you got coming, man.
Drew, send us out.
DJ, spin that.